Welcome back to our F1 2020 Ferrari Return to Glory career mode. Just 5 races left now in the season, and we've got the Singapore Grand Prix coming up today. Last time up we had the team's home race then, the Italian Grand Prix, and this is how it's left the standings then. Leclerc second, we're fourth. It's all very close though, just 19 points separating the top 4 here. And in the constructors we are still in the lead of that then, 29 points clear at the moment then of Red Bull, so not looking too bad at this stage then, and yeah, we're still very much in the fight for both championships here. As we go fast forward time today then, we should hopefully get a big chassis upgrade on the car then today ahead of this Grand Prix, and we'll see. We have indeed got it then, so that is good news for us there. Improves tyre wear, which is something that has been a bit of an issue at times for us, but yeah, it's certainly good for us, and we can now get a aero upgrade on the car as well now then, so that'll certainly be good for us then, and we can get that on the car for the next race as well at Japan, which would be really good. That's like the ideal place really to have an aero upgrade on. We'll also have Austin and Mexico coming up after this as well, so yeah, that'll be really good for us, I think, to get some aero upgrades on the car there. It's looking very close at the moment then. Mercedes pulling away once again, but in the fight for second place there, it's all looking very close between us, Red Bull and Racing Point, so yeah, all still to play for there then. Mercedes have looked faster, but they've just never really made the most of it, as Vettel then is retiring, but we've been in his seat ever since the start of this series, so it doesn't really make much of a difference there that he's not going to be racing, I guess, after next season. But here's the weather forecast then, and it is going to be yet again then a rain affected race, but it's not going to be until right at the end apparently. There, literally in that last bar there, saying that it's going to have some rain. As practice then didn't really go as great as I was hoping for there. We didn't get as many resource points as I would have hoped for, although we have been doing well in some practice sessions recently, and then just doing absolutely terrible in qualifying. So, you know, maybe the opposite will happen today then, as we do now head into qualifying, and we'll see what happens here. This is a track where you'd want to have a good qualifying, because yeah, qualifying down like 15th, 16th is not going to be a good thing around this track. Obviously not a lot of places to overtake, so yeah, we want to try and get high up the field if we can, and we're pushing right away from Q1 there then, almost finding the barriers, but thankfully getting away with that one then. As we come to the end of this lap then, it was still, I thought, a pretty decent lap here, so we're just trying to keep it going then all the way to the end. Albon there on a 34.4. We go slightly slower then, with a little bit of a mistake as well there, a 34.5, and I panicked here for a second because I fast forwarded time to the end, and thankfully I did just about get through in 15th. It seemed that just once I like simulated the times, the AI just went way quicker, so I sort of found out after this point I had to just sort of let the whole session play out as it would normally at like a normal speed, because it just seemed that like the AI simulated times were just way too quick compared to what they were actually doing when I was like actually on track and letting it play out in normal time. But anyway, then we head into Q2, where we should hopefully now be able to get through to the top 10, because as I said, I did make a mistake, and also I'm not gonna, you know, just fast forward time and let the AI set some unrealistic lap times. We set a 34.0 there, which did leave us actually quicker then after the first runs, but there were some cars on mediums, and I was also wary of maybe AI going quicker again, so I did go out, and the Mercedes then did beat us out then, and so did Verstappen as well in fact there, but I could see at this point that no one was going to knock me out here, so I did just back out of this lap then to save some tyres, because we are through then in 4th position. So looking much stronger than this weekend in qualifying after some pretty bad ones lately. Leclerc there in 6th also come to be through as well. Bit surprised there to see Stroll only 12th. That's quite disappointing for him, I'd say, because Racing Point are right in that fight, I'd say, for second place at the moment in terms of car development. The two houses there dropped out, so it is Antonio Giovinazzi. Now on to Q3 then, and this is our first lap, which is on a used set of tyres, so we're probably not going to get our best lap time out of this one then, but we'll hope to still get a decent time on the board here. A 34.3, which is a little bit off of what we have been doing, but it does put us 5th then after that first run, and this is now going to be our final proper run now then and we'll see then how far up the field it gets us then on a fresh set of tyres. We've been looking pretty good, so I'd hope that we can really get ourselves moved on to one of the first 2 rows here. As we see then after the first sector, we're a little bit down there compared to Verstappen, but we are up on our time, so you know, hopefully it's just a case of just in general we're not as quick as through sector 1, but through sectors 2 and 3 we're a lot quicker. That's what we're hoping for here, and we are 3 tenths up on our personal best here. And in fact we do set a purple sector 2 time there, so we'll bring it right back then. Compared to Verstappen, we were almost level there, and he is currently 3rd at the moment then with I believe it's the 2 Mercedes then on the front row at the moment. And we are just continuing to find time here then on this end part of the lap, but we just have a little bit of a lock-up there which may just have ruined things slightly. But we are still, well, we are now about half a second up on our lap time, so we should go on for hopefully a big improvement here then, and hopefully get ourselves up the table a little bit then to the line. And we go 2nd then, so that is a fantastic qualifying for us on the front row there, alongside our fellow Brit Lewis Hamilton. And I mean, it's just crazy, you know, we had a bad practice, we qualify 2nd, we've been having good practices, and then qualifying 15th and 16th, so you know, that makes sense. But yeah, great qualifying for us there. Verstappen in 3rd, Bottas 4th, our teammate Charles is in 5th, and then we've got Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz and Kvyat there rounding out the top 10. So that does mean then that we gained some points over Bottas there in the rivalry, so it's good. We may still be able to claw that one back then, hopefully. So yeah, that's certainly a good result for us there then, and gained a bit of driver acclaim as well. And yeah, overall then a very successful qualifying session for us there. As I said, I was hoping to get on the first 2 rows, but I didn't really expect to actually be on the front row there, so that was very good. We'll have to now just try and carry that through to the race then, where obviously it is going to rain then, well, it's saying on the forecast there for right near the end. So we'll see then exactly when that rain does come, because I imagine it will at some point, but it's just a case of how late it comes. Will it have any effect on the race at all? We'll have to wait and see then, as we now head into the Singapore Grand Prix.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and the scientist completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Kvyat, and Pierre Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Max Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, and Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Norris, Kimi Raikkonen, and Esteban Ocon, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Every single week there has to be some kind of twist in the Drivers' Championship, and well, I guess this week then it's Max Verstappen then getting that grid penalty. The championship leader, of course, and he's going to be starting down the field then in 13th, I believe it was there. So yet again then, some drama to, you know, spice things up a bit, as we're going to be on a 2-stop strategy for today then with 2 medium stints, but obviously that could be changed by whatever the weather does then today. But we'll have to wait and see then. Hopefully we're not alone in doing a 2-stop here, because if the Mercedes then are potentially on a 1-stop, then that could disrupt things potentially for us then, because it could be hard for us to beat them doing an extra pit stop. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, with our race pace, and also see what the Mercedes do go on to do then in this race. Team there saying no rain forecast at the moment, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens later then. The lights are on now. and we are away here then in Singapore, and it's a pretty good start here compared to Hamilton. We're going to have the inside line for turn 1 as well here, so we're on the inside and we just run him out of road there and straight into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. So that is exactly the start that we needed to have there, straight into first place, and we'll see now then if we can pull away out the front before DRS is enabled or anything. As we come out of turn 5, we don't have the best run, and in fact Hamilton's already got a great run on this end. We're in Rich and overtake, but still the Mercedes just flies past us there, down into turn 7, and Hamilton is back through then straight away. So if we thought we were going to have it easy once we took the lead, then we were very wrong indeed, because Hamilton has fought straight back there and gone back into the lead of this Grand Prix. So yeah, we've certainly got a bit of a race on our hands here then potentially, and yeah, it's looking like maybe a battle of the Brits here then, with us and Hamilton here at the front. Here's the replay then of the start, and we just had so much of a better launch off the line there, which is surprising because we were on the dirtier part of the track there. But yeah, we just grabbed the inside line and just made sure to make sure he couldn't drive it around the outside or get the inside line for the right hander there. But then yeah, just a little bit later on, he just had a fantastic drive out of turn 5, and just the straight line speed of that Mercedes is insane really, and yeah, just breezed past there. And I think we probably made it a little bit too easy, but we'll see it in a second then, because we'll watch those first few corners again from the perspective of Lewis Hamilton here then, and just yeah, into turn 1 there, we grabbed the inside line and yeah, just made sure to run him out a little bit there, just to compromise him a little bit as well. But yeah, I mean, you already know at this point then, just from this bit, just the straight line advantage that he had there. And then I was going to say here, we made it maybe a little bit too easy here then, because we just handed him the racing line when I was thinking of going defensive towards turn 7, just to cover the left hand side. But it didn't even matter in the end, because his straight line speed was just so great there that he was able to just breeze past and get the move done before the corner. Right at the back there, Nicholas Latifi had a good start, but then he completely ruined that by driving straight into the back of Ocon there in the Renault, so he was in the pits there at the end of the first lap. On to lap 2 now then, where we are still putting the pressure here on Lewis Hamilton. We built out a just over a second lead then, the two of us here up at the front, and yeah, we're still putting the pressure on him then. So it's looking at the moment then, early days, but it's looking like a bit of a 2-horse race here. But yeah, whatever Hamilton does, we're going slightly quicker here then, and we're really just putting the pressure on him, as yeah, almost just pushing him around some of these slower corners. But DRS is now enabled, so we'll see what we can do. Well, see, we saw that the Mercedes was so fast before down this straight, but we'll see what we can do now then with DRS. We've got Rich and we've got overtake once again, but we're just not catching quickly enough here then. Maybe he was also using overtake as well there, but no, we just couldn't get close enough at all there. We were very close once again there on the exit, but just nowhere to go with it that time, and he maintains his lead for the time being. But we are just absolutely hounding the back of this Mercedes at the moment, so hopefully we can get past here sooner rather than later. And yeah, just about trying to build up a lead at the front then, as we got DRS again then, this time on the next lap. Yet again, just not closing quickly enough. We're trying to get in his mirrors a little bit, and in fact he does have a little bit of a lock up there that really compromises his run out of the corner. Into turn 8, we've got the inside line, and we are just about then gonna find our way through here. He's on the inside line again for turn 9, but we're going to run it outside here then. He is a little bit compromised on that tighter line, and we managed to move ourselves back up into the lead of the Grand Prix then, and hopefully now we can pull away. As we see the replay then, you can see us just moving about there behind him, and he did end up having a lock up there, and then we just had the inside line for turn 8. He couldn't turn in on us there, and we were able to take the place. He did try and fight back, but yeah, just the angle of that corner, yeah, it just wasn't going to happen there. We see then the replay from him, and it was just a lock up on that front left, ran a little bit wide, and then just that really hurt his exit, and yeah, again, just couldn't turn in, so that allowed us to take the position, and hopefully now we can pull away, because we were looking very quick compared to the Mercedes. We were just pushing around some of those corners, and indeed by lap 5 we had a 3-second lead here, so our race pace was really strong as well here. The team are now calling this in for our first stop, so yeah, we'll see then how that plays out. In fact, Charles is actually pitted before us then, so it looks like both of us then are on this 2-stop strategy, and we'll have to wait and see what the Mercedes do then, as we are just really pulling away from them. So they could potentially be saving their tyres here, but we could just be a lot quicker than them. We do now pit then for our first stop, and in fact Hamilton's actually joined us as well then in the pit, so it does look like the Mercedes are doing the same strategy as us, which is quite encouraging then, because it does look like we have some good pace here today then. A good start for the team. We'll see then where we come out, and we'll see then where we are compared to Charles as well then, who pitted before us. And he's going around the final corner now then, so it's actually going to be quite close here, with this being quite a tight pit exit. He was 4 seconds behind us when he pitted, and this is going to be very close here out the pits, and we've just about done enough, but he is so close to the back of us there. That undercut was so powerful there. He's gained more than 3 seconds on us there on that lap, so that is a very powerful undercut there, and well, he's easily jumped Hamilton there, and he'll surely now easily jump Bottas as well, so Mercedes have potentially got that wrong. We had to use a bit of rich and also overtake there just to make sure that Leclerc didn't try and surprise us there with an overtake, as yeah, some more cars in the pits now, including Valtteri Bottas, and we'll see then that yeah, he's been affected very badly then by having to stay out yet another lap, and yeah, he's behind at least Ricciardo and also Perez now as well, so he's now in a net 6th position. So he had some good fortune back in Monza, but then it was back to how it's been for him all season now, just really getting screwed over with some bad luck once again then. And yeah, we now catch up to a bunch of cars now then that are on one-stop strategies here, which includes George Russell, who we just about managed to run it around the outside of there into turn 1. He's certainly put up quite a fight there, but we managed to get through. But yeah, as we've seen then quite a few times this season, the cars in the top 10 doing a 2-stop here, but quite a few cars outside the top 10 are once again going for that 1-stop, and we'll have to work our way back through them once again then. We would have had a good run there on Raikkonen, but I think we were actually just a little bit too close to the back of him there, because he locked up and we had to back out of it. And he certainly doesn't seem to want to do his former team any favours here then, certainly put up quite a fight, but we did manage to get through there eventually. But yeah, Kimi there certainly putting up quite a fight there. As we see a replay, and he did go very defensive there towards turn 7, but that really just compromised his run then and allowed us to get the move done into turn 8. But once again then, really fighting us, even more so than it seemed that Hamilton did a few laps ago. As we've got Grosjean now in the pits then, as we're on the back of Ocon. So I guess Grosjean then pitting a little bit earlier than the rest of these cars here then, who are all on mediums. I guess they'll probably go to hards at this point now then, to the end. Once they do come in, that would make the most sense, I guess, as we'll hopefully now then clear Ocon as well, and then we've got Norris after that, and then it's Magnussen and I believe Gasly who is currently leading this race then for AlphaTauri. But yeah, we just couldn't get close to the back of Ocon there. Then he had DRS as well on Norris there, which didn't help us, but yeah, we just couldn't find a straight line speed there to get through, which is a bit frustrating. Also, we've got Leclerc close behind us as well, and also Hamilton's closing back up as well then, because we are taking our time here to clear through all this traffic, and Ocon then go very defensive here into some of these corners, so he really doesn't want to let us through either here then. So I guess maybe then seeing what happened in some of the races earlier in the season then, like Bahrain and Spain, where the one-stop has really made it work then to get good results, and yeah, they're picking up on it now then, and they're like, no, we're not giving these two-stoppers any space whatsoever then. We're not just going to let them through, we're going to, you know, try and make this work then and get good results here, and I guess you can't really blame them for that then. But yeah, we want to try and get past and then as quickly as we can here, because it's really going to be ruining our race to here on the 2 stops. As yeah, Ocon then continuing to go defensive there, but that's going to hurt him this time then through turn 5. We're going to have a good run now this time then. We've got DRS. In fact, he nearly squeezed us into the wall there. We had a little bit of contact. We seem to have got away with no damage though. And yeah, he's out of shape then. We're on the outside this time for turn 8, but we should hopefully run it right outside here. And we do finally then clear the run out of Esteban Ocon here then and move ourselves up into 4th position. That really took a lot more time than I would have liked it to. I was very cautious as well, because he was going so defensive at times. That was ridiculous there into turn 6, just completely shut the door on us when we were partly alongside him. And that could have been a lot worse there, but we thankfully did finally get the move done here then, and we didn't get any damage either. We see the onboard then from Ocon, and we'll see then just how bad this is. And yeah, he sweeps right across us then, and a little bit of contact there, but thankfully no damage. And yeah, he was very fortunate that he didn't get a puncture there then in quite a high speed section of the track. But then round the outside, we just had so much better tyre life, and through we went then up into 4th position, and now we've got Norris in the pits then at the end of lap 12. In fact, so does Magnussen there, and so does Gasly, so we retake the lead of the race. And this is a bit different then. The team are suggesting a new strategy to us while we're still on dries here. They're delaying our stop until lap 20. Obviously we have to follow that, so that's what we're going to do now then. Do they maybe know something that we don't in terms of the weather there? They're just sort of delaying that stop so that we don't have to go on to mediums again, maybe. Who knows, but what we do know is that it's currently a Ferrari 1-2, so hopefully they're not going to do anything to mess that up here, because we're in a very good position at this stage then. 1 and 2, and hopefully nothing will mess that up then. Hamilton's still quite close to the back there of Leclerc, but we've got a nice lead at the moment then. On to lap 17, where actually Charles now does pit again, so are they still maybe expecting this to be a 2-stop here then with 2 medium stints? Because certainly it's too early for him to be on any kind of wet tyres, so hopefully they're not about to pull a massive undercut here with Charles on us and take the win off us potentially. But well, it is starting to rain now, so they may have actually just made a terrible decision there with Charles there, and they may have made a very good one with me to delay my pit stop, because I would now be pitting on this lap. But yeah, it's certainly not time for inters yet, and yeah, well, we don't really want to get on to another set of mediums at this stage either, but we are now on to lap 20, where it's still saying we've got to go on to mediums, and the rain is really starting to come down, so hopefully they do give us the call on this lap, or else they could potentially be about to ruin our race here, as we got Latifi out of the race and from last place here, just up in front of us, and they still haven't given us the call. They're giving us some random messages about the changeover point here, as we got yellow flags there. And now finally, when we're literally in the pit entrance, they finally give us the new strategy here to go into inters. They were seconds away there from completely destroying our race, but thankfully they did finally make the call then, and we now pit for intermediate tyres, and Hamilton does follow us into the pits then. I guess Ricciardo probably will as well there then. Albon seems to have stayed out though, so that is an interesting call there. Not sure why they would have done that, but yeah, he stays on another lap then. But it looks like everyone else is coming in now then to change on to inters, and well, thank goodness the team then, just about in the nick of time, managed to actually make that call then, because we were about to come in and put more mediums on, because obviously we follow whatever the team tells us to do in this series. And well, it's completely gone wrong here for Charles. If he thought he was getting an undercut, he's been for a nasty shock here, because look at the train of cars that he's now behind. He's well out of the points here, and he's got a lot of work to do now then to salvage anything from today's race. For us though, we're going to have see Albon there pitting, and now we are 10 laps away from victory with an 8.6 second lead over Lewis Hamilton. So if we just keep this going, then we are looking very good now to win this race, take our second victory of the season, and we'll just be hoping things stay as they are really, and we don't have to worry about any more pit stops here, or like the weather getting worse or better or anything. Just, you know, this until the end, just take care of the car, and yeah, hopefully we will come out of it in the lead then. We skip to lap 26 then, where we're still looking very good here. We managed to build the gap out to 11 seconds over Hamilton, so we're still going well here then. And yeah, just making sure that we keep out of the barriers, as the rain is starting to pick up a bit more then. So yeah, we want to have a good lead then, just in case the team decide that we want to go on to wet tyres then for the final few laps. But yeah, that didn't turn out to be the case, and despite the weather really starting to come down a lot more, and so did the gap to Hamilton in fact as well. But I really was just taking it nice and easy here. I meant to change my front wing to be lower so that I had a bit more rear stability in the pit stop, but I forgot, so I wasn't entirely happy with the balance here, and I was just taking it easy because I knew I had the big lead to fall back on here. But thankfully then the checkered flag is going to come in the nick of time for us then, and we will take the victory here. But yeah, we just seem to have had good pace all weekend, and I think, yeah, we just managed to make it work for us then with the strategy, made the pass on Hamilton, and yeah, we're going to take the win then. Across the line, we win the Singapore Grand Prix.
Great drive, we did it, good job.
They've endured the harsh conditions here in Singapore to pull off a spectacular victory. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
There are the final results then. We started second on the grid, but we managed to move up then and take the victory in the end, ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who obviously started on pole there, but he did get the fastest lap as well there then, so he gets the extra point. It's turned into a very strong second half of the season here for Daniel Ricciardo. They're finishing in third, getting yet another podium this season, and Sergio Perez then keeps up his consistent scoring here then to finish in fourth. Bottas once again fell apart from him a bit today then with that fifth place. Verstappen then managed to salvage sixth after his grid penalty, so it's a solid result for him there then, beating his teammate Alexander Albon. So that brief run of form he had seems to have run out once again. Stroll managed to get himself back into the points. Gasly was ninth there, fell for Tauri, and Giovinazzi then, who was last in the standings, has moved himself up to 10th then, well, has managed to finish in 10th then today, I should say, with that result. And Leclerc once again down in 12th for the second time in 3 races there. And down the bottom there, Nicholas Latifi was the one retirement then today in the Williams. It's what it's done to the standings then, and it just gets even tighter now then. 3 points separate the top 3 at the moment then. It's Hamilton back to the top then. Verstappen 1 point behind. We're then a further 2 points behind. And it's now Charles down to 4th then. His season's really starting to unravel, but he's still just about in it then. 13 points behind. We've still got 4 races to go, so it could still go anyone's way. You never know. Sergio Perez, he's consistently scoring points. He could still bring himself into it. You never know. 40 points behind. Bottas probably just about out of it now then. 52 behind. Albon's right there. And Ricciardo, if he hadn't had some poor results in the middle of the season, he could have really been bringing himself into this one, because he had some strong results early on in the season and he's doing well these last couple of races. But yeah, things went a little bit wrong for him in the middle of the season, and if that hadn't been the case, he could well have been in this title fight, because he's just been grabbing podiums out of nowhere on quite a few occasions this season then. In the Constructors, we managed to open the gap out a little bit then today with, it's now back out to 36 points. Still very close there for second. Red Bull are 4 points behind Mercedes there. So it is still very close then. Mercedes, I believe, did retake that place then today. Racing Point then up to 4th ahead of AlphaTauri. And in fact, Renault are not too far behind them now as well either then. So AlphaTauri could be on to lose even more place here. McLaren then, their season started to really fall apart here then. They're quite a distant 7th now. Williams are 8th. And Alfa Romeo then have overtaken Haas for 9th.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. It doesn't get much better than a win at this track, does it? What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend? Appreciate your time.
It was a very good weekend indeed for us then, getting all 5 points there in the rivalry, with Bottas only getting 2, and we've managed to close it right back up again then with 2 races remaining in this rivalry, and yet still go either way then, as we also gained a big chunk of acclaim there as well. So yep, just all positive for us then this weekend. Sadly not for us as a team. We could have really had a 1-2 there, but they completely messed things up with Charles' strategy, and he didn't even score points in the end, which I guess helps us a little bit, because now we're the top dog in the Drivers' Championship within the team. But yep, certainly hurt him there a little bit, and sort of hurt us a little bit in the Constructors. We could have really built out a big lead there, but it wasn't to be. But we're still in the lead, so hopefully we can maintain it then for these final 4 races. Hopefully we can get to the top of the drivers' standings as well. We'll have to wait and see then. Just 4 rounds to go. Next time up is Suzuka, and yeah, hope to see you for that one then. If you did enjoy this one, really appreciate a like on the video, and I'll see you next time.